Hey, and we're live. How's everyone doing this evening? It's May 11th. Haven't done kind of a later stream in a while. For us, anyway, at the Pacific Coast, it's 9 p.m. So it's not too late, and I figured it's Friday night. Maybe more people are awake because it's school's over. Got the weekend to look forward to. How are people doing? Wonder how basically Nathan, Femi Martin Vlogs, Kenneth Cook, Jay-Z Ball, hey, Viper's there, was watching you earlier. Jordan, Gabe, Ethan, Mac, hello, peeps. So how are people doing? It's the countdown to Worldwide Developers Conference, huh? We got less and less weeks. Less and less weeks. I guess that's literally it at all times. Just there's less weeks before the next one. YouTube didn't notify me. Uh-oh. That's not good. I hope you're getting notified. I got a lot of comments about that on the last, what was it? The last video, I think people were like, I wasn't getting notified for it. I don't know. Maybe because I'm not reporting on Android P as much as everyone else. YouTube's not going to send out notification. That's okay, though. We don't mind. What feature do you want to see for iOS 12? Honestly, like with all the talk about the Google Assistant in Siri, I think a primary focus on making Siri smarter would probably be the most rewarding for people. But of course, the more stability, the less bugs. But bugs are going to be there. You can't stop that. I think that's just a result of operating systems doing more and more and more. There's going to be more problems as they have more features. But anyway, first super chat of the evening from Viper. Thank you very much. Says, yo, thank you for dropping into my live stream. I was so not expecting that. Appreciate you. Thank you. You're a very entertaining YouTuber, and I liked seeing your stuff, and I clicked that subscribe button. It says, yeah, people are saying on Twitter that I'm late, but I'm going to tell them check the channel. Hold on. Wait. I have a share button here, right? Yes, I do. I'll respond to him and say, you're late. There. Check the channel. That's where you refresh. Apple Music versus Spotify, Drew. The problem with that whole debate is that they're all they're very similar. Is that I mean they basically are the same price. Technically, Apple Music can be a little bit cheaper if you do the annual plan, but I think I heard Spotify is also doing that. So what it really comes down to me, big shock, is that Apple Music's more readily accessible on cellular Apple Watch, of course, the HomePods, which sound really, really good. So yeah, I mean, both are going to do the job done. It's not like Spotify sucks and Apple Music's great. They're both going to get the job done. There's not a huge debate to be had there. Apple Music can be a little bit easier to manage. Some people think the Apple Music has a cleaner UI. Some people think Spotify has a cleaner UI. But typically, it's basically just going to result to what you're used to. So I know a lot of people that are like, which understandably, if you have a whole music library already built into Spotify, why take the time to switch over to Apple Music and remake everything all over again? What are you most excited about for the iPhone 10 Plus? Obviously, the screen for the most part. I'm really just looking forward to a display that supports kind of the landscape mode options of a Plus iPhone, and on top of that, like the multiple tabs in Safari. You can switch back and forth. The current iPhone 10, while it is the largest display we've had on an iPhone, it still behaves like a regular sized iPhone 7 or iPhone 8, just because of that width. It's very tall, but the width actually didn't change very much. And I'm excited to get a 10 looking phone on this size, because if you haven't noticed, I'm still using the 8 Plus. I still have not to this day switched back to the 10. I've came close quite a few times because I'll hold my girlfriend's phone, or my current iPhone 10 is with my friend Xander. He's using it. And I'll hold his, which is mine, and go back to it for a second and be like, man, this is nice. I really prefer that contrast ratio. Ooh, and I like that there's no bezels. Oh, that's so much better. So I don't think the 8 Plus is better, but the only reason I keep using the 8 Plus is just because I like that size so much more. So I'm excited for the compromise. But still on top of that, it's going to be a very minor year for updates. It's definitely not going to be as exciting of a year for leaks, for rumors, as it was last year. Last year, I don't know if we'll ever get that kind of excitement and hype up for an iPhone again, if we'll be able to make an iPhone that changes that drastically. Because even this year, it's going to be like, That's my one problem with the 10. There's a couple other things like the camera bump, and I don't need the lightning port, but they're not going to worry about that. My one recommendation for the iPhone 10, if Apple was asking me, was I was like, I would rather have 2 sizes for this. I would like a larger one too. And then this year we'll get it. And I'll be like, oh, great. That's what I wanted. Thanks. And then we go back to using the phone. Like, it's not going to be a giant, it'll be significantly different at first. But other than that, faster chip, a little bit better camera. It's going to be a beast. It's going to change everything. No, it's just slightly bigger than the last one. It's nice. It's what we need, but it's not going to change a bunch of stuff. Do you like the look of the dual camera on the iPhone 8 Plus or the 10? I prefer the look of the 8 Plus one. Really? So in different ways, like, obviously it'd be better if the camera bump was not there, period. I think most people can agree with that. Very few people are like, I actually like the camera bump. It's more aesthetic. I like the bump. But what I like about the iPhone 8s is that the ridge, see if I can get a close-up on that without disgusting you with my hands, is that the ridge on the camera bump kind of does this. It's like at a slope, so it's a bit more gradual, whereas on the 10, it's sharp. It's like a hard cut of stain. I think that's what it is the stainless steel is harder to shape into that configuration, so that's why they make it sharp, and on the 8, aluminum can be molded easier. But what I do prefer about the 10 is that they put the microphone and the flash all into the same module. I prefer that to the 8's flash and microphone externally to the module. So I prefer the 10s, but because the sharp thing doesn't bother me as much, but still. Use a case? Nah, I'm good. Haven't dropped a phone yet. It's still clean. Been rocking the 8 Plus caseless for a while. It's still looking good. It's getting some fingerprints on the back of it, but that's okay. I just use my Tailosive merchandise to clean off my iPhone display, iPhone glass displays. Anyway, next super chat is from Stefano. It says, grrr, love today's video, Drew. I legitimately admire you. Thoughts on the iPhone SE 2 recent leaks? I don't know what the grrr is for, but thank you for supporting the channel. Let's see. I think, by the way, so for those of you watching this live, this is basically a sneak peek for the next video. The next tech video is on the new SE rumors because they're really going around. Weird ones too, the ones with the notch and the ones with the bezel-less display. And I was like, I feel like we'd be getting a lot more reports if Apple suddenly had a different sized OLED display in order. More OLED displays needed to be manufactured. And there's also like leaked pictures of rumored parts with the notch at the top being, smaller or whatnot. And there's case manufacturers saying this is what the SE will look like. And I'm like, is that really what they're going to do? Because like if the notch is shrunken down so that it can fit on an SE sized phone, I don't know if Face ID can keep working. And on top of that, like gesture control, adding to the edge-to-edge design on a smaller form factor, that would, as Viper mentioned in his stream, that would definitely influence the success of the iPhone 10. They would lose sales. Like, how do you price that? Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre. My legitimate belief is that Apple is literally just trying to flood the market with fake leaks to try to throw everyone off. And I noticed that a lot of people would actually like the leaks that are happening. A lot of people want that to happen. So maybe it's a bad thing for Apple to get people's hypes up unintentionally, but that's the only thing I can imagine is causing this. I just have no idea. Anyway, next super chat is from Sandir Sar. It says, thoughts on Siri with Assistant / Alexa duopoly? Let's see what you mean by that. Siri, are you saying Siri with Google Assistant / Alexa? What do you mean by that? Anyway, thoughts on Siri and Google Assistant is that, look, absolutely no one thinks that Siri is better than the Google Assistant. Okay, like we've been having this discussion on Twitter for a while because I was complaining that, yeah, we get it. The Google Assistant's the best digital assistant. By the way, iOS 18 didn't change that. Before iOS 18, the Google Assistant was still by far the best digital assistant, hands down. No one denied that. It's very clear and very obvious to everyone. But my complaint was that how come every time we say that the Google Assistant is awesome, it's like now required to say that Siri is garbage? Because I don't entirely believe that. To me, garbage has to mean like inoperable, doesn't work, unusable. And Siri, while missing a lot of features the Google Assistant had, is by no means unusable or just worthless. Because for what we need Siri to do, at least us in the Apple ecosystem, she can do a lot of things we need her to just fine. We can get her to play music. We can get her to send text messages, set reminders. Sure, she could add more calendar features or be able to set more than 15 timers at once, or be able to answer more direct questions. Like someone on Twitter was asking me, like, Siri's a joke because she doesn't know the third president of the US. And I was like, Siri, what's the third president of the US? And she actually knew that. So it's like, even if you want to go the route of like, she doesn't know all the stuff Google Assistant does, therefore she is garbage. That's going more the route of what it's like to be an Apple sheep, right? As in, your product doesn't do what mine does, therefore it is garbage. It's like, it's a two-way street, guys. Like, if you're going to complain about my critiques of a product and say that you only hate the Pixel because it's not an iPhone, it's like, well, you're only hating Siri because it's not the Google Assistant. Are those features the Google Assistant is gaining really things that everyone absolutely needs? Maybe a couple people, but definitely not everyone. And I would not compare Siri to garbage when things like Bixby and Cortana still exist. Like, Siri is not the worst digital assistant. Cortana's on every Windows 10 device, very hard to disable. Windows 10 is a very popular operating system. Bixby is a very common digital assistant that I used on the S9. It was still garbage. I couldn't get her to do half the stuff I needed her to. But on top of all of that, digital assistants are not like the reason people buy phones, or at least if they are, it's not the majority of people. And I think the sales numbers can prove that, given that the Google Assistant and the Android experience is the most clean on Pixel products. They're not selling too well. People aren't buying into that, meaning that having a good digital assistant statistically isn't what gets people to buy your phone, especially given the fact that Siri is not the best and yet is on all of the most popular smartphones that sell. So when we're talking about like, oh, Siri sucks, oh, Siri's garbage, Apple's got a lot of catching up to do, it's like, maybe people should consider this idea for a moment. Siri has been around the longest, and a lot of people result to that as saying, like, Siri's been around the longest time. Why does she suck so much? Shouldn't Siri be the best because she's been around so long? Maybe Apple's had Siri long enough to realize that she didn't affect people's sales. Maybe Apple's had Siri long enough to realize that digital assistants do not convince people to buy phones. And perhaps Apple, with all their experience and knowledge, has figured out that they need to invest their time and money and resources on things that are going to convince people to buy their phone. And maybe since they've had Siri since the 4S, they know that digital assistants aren't persuading people. I don't know, just a theory. Anyway, big super chat. Press F to pay respects to Brondo for the largest super chat of the evening. Hi, Drew. Been using the S9 Plus for a few weeks as a secondary phone. Nothing special about it. Hardware is great, but software, well, it's Samsung. While you're on that topic of the plus size, can't wait for the iPhone 10 Plus. November? I'm really, really hoping not. I'm hoping this year the iPhone 10s won't have to be delayed, and that this year we'll get the 10 Plus and 10 in September instead of November. I'm guessing because there were a lot of slowdowns between the Face ID sensors and the OLED panels that were slowing down the release of the iPhone 10 last year, and they delayed it till November. They've slowed down on that. They're now saving up resources for Face ID on the new phone. So I'm thinking they probably won't have to delay it till November, and they'll probably be ready in September. But yeah, definitely getting one. Very excited for it. But I mean, not terribly excited. I just mean like that's the one thing I want. I want this size, but with an iPhone 10. I want Face ID and bezel-less and gesture controls on a phone this large. I already have the dummy 10 Plus right over there, so I can get a hold of what it feels like to hold. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. I want that. So when I'll get it, I'll be like, thanks. That's better. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you kind of agree with me on the S9 Plus. You know, it's interesting how, like, when I was switching to the Galaxy S8 Plus last year from my iPhone 7 Plus, that was like a significant noticeable upgrade. and I actually really liked the S8. I kept it for quite a while until the software bugs started rolling in. But yeah, I was switching from a 7 Plus to a Galaxy S8 was like very noticeable to have like that infinity display and have wireless charging and the water resistance. And I guess I still had that on the 7, but still, it was a noticeable upgrade. But now switching from an iPhone 10 to an S9, it's no longer a noticeable upgrade. You kind of get over the bezel-less craze. You get over the fact that phones have less and less bezel. And I have wireless charging now. I have the A12 chip. I've got the dual camera with dual optical image stabilization. And then you go to the S9 Plus and you're like, eh. We also had Face ID now. And before we only had Touch ID. So, that's just, nothing's really that wrong with the S9 Plus. It's just kind of not enough has changed from the past to justify it for a lot of people. Berzono Studios donated $1. Thank you very much. And I am reading the super chats. I'm just reading them very thoroughly because I don't want to let anyone's money go to waste. Can we talk about Apple Watch Series 4? I've noticed a lot of people have been asking for more Apple Watch Series 4 videos, but realize I don't like, I need something to bring up to the table. There's not been any more leaks or rumors about the Apple Watch Series 4. So that's why I kind of just make more Apple Watch videos. It's like, about what? I mean, WatchOS 4.1.3 allows for this. It's like, I don't know. There's a different charge animation. I can't make a whole video about that. There's no new leaks for the Series 4. That's probably why I'm not talking about it. If I find some leaks or I find some rumors or I personally get an idea in my head for the Apple Watch Series 4, then yeah, I'll talk about it. It's kind of a dead end topic as of right now. It's rumored to be a redesign. Let's see. Let me go to my channel here. So because we post like basically a video a day, and that's actually kind of hard to like keep finding new topics. When was the last time I talked about the Apple Watch Series 4? Scrolling back here, a month ago. So basically like 4 weeks ago, we went over the redesign of the Series 4, and we really haven't had any new information since. So like there's still videos on it. If you haven't seen it, I guess there's plenty of new subscribers who weren't around a month ago easily. We gained like 6,000 subs in the last month or so. Yeah, meme review. I know, I threw everyone off there. Who was it? Connor donated $1. No comment on it, but thank you. What I do want to talk about is stuff that is actually being reported on. Like, we're getting lots of leaks and rumors about that SE2. That's why we're going to talk about it. Google Pixel Watch, that could get a video, is that without really much evidence for it, but I guess that's what makes it a rumor. See, a lot of people are tweeting at me that they're not getting a notification. So I'm going to go ahead and tweet this out and say people are claiming, let's see, people are claiming, give me 1 second here. People are claiming they're not getting notifications for my stream. So here it is. That's via Twitter. If you want more Apple sheep cringiness, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Anyway, Yiharasawa super chatted and said they should release the iPhone in November just to make our 10 feel new longer. Well, they're still going to have the keynote. They're still going to have the keynote at September anyway. So do you really want to wait 2 months? Because I didn't enjoy that wait. Like, it made sense because they like wanted people to buy the iPhone 8 and then the 10. But this year, I think it's primarily going to be focused on the 10 and 10 Plus. So get that out of the way. Even if it is, even if the refresh, it's only 2 months. It's like you got your iPhone 10. It was the current phone for 10 months. I mean, you're only 2 months away. We shouldn't just delay every iPhone release from here on out. I bought 2 of the Give Me a Break t-shirts and love it. I love your content. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. And Obi, sorry, I missed it. Obi super chatted, says, I watch your videos at 2x speed. I don't know how you do that. I mean, I already talk too much and too fast. Sadly, you can't do this as a live stream because that would be tricky. The thumbnail is lit. Yeah, that's our iPhone collection. If you could play this live stream at 2x, you could look into the future. It'd be interesting. Rick and Morty 70 plus more episodes. Yeah, I think we did a video on that on movie reviews, or we're about to or something. Dan is. Can I see if he posted that already? We're close to 2,000 subscribers on movie reviews. Oh, no. Okay. Dan's going to make a video about the 70 plus Rick and Morty episodes, but most recently he talked about John Wick 3. But yeah, anyway, we're getting close. Cheesy Ball super chatted, no comment, but thank you very much. How to YouTube. Record a 5-minute video, slow it down and make it 10 minutes. Tell everyone to watch it at 0.5x speed. Yeah, but no one would get it. Everyone would be like, no, like, wait. Okay, yeah, I guess that works. But what's an annoying thing about YouTube is that even when you have 2x speed on, when you go to another video, it's still on, and you have to remember to turn it off. I wish it would be limited to just that video. If they found a way to allow wireless charging on an aluminum back, would you prefer the glass or aluminum? I personally actually prefer the glass. It's actually, believe it or not, a bit more grippy than aluminum. Aluminum is fairly soft, and we found a little bit more slippery, and just personal preference, I just like the way glass backs look. I know a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people do not like having the glass on the back because it can break. But I mean, like, aluminum scuffs almost regardless, whereas glass, almost like as long as you take good care of it and it doesn't shatter, it basically won't show really that many signs of wear, unless I guess there's micro abrasions. But I don't know. Micro abrasions don't seem as visible as like dents and scratches you get in the back of aluminum iPhones. So I think as long as you're not dropping and cracking the glass, it actually does age a lot better than aluminum, which regardless of how you treat it, it'll pick up scuffs and little dents and little marks here and there. So yeah, I prefer glass. Anyway, next super chat's from Roberto Blake, who says, what do you think about Apple producing more original video content? Also, what do you think of the new YouTube updates and features? Charity stream at 100,000 subs. Wow, we got a lot of ideas to take in here. Apple producing more original video content. I heard they were hiring more film producers and stuff. Currently, I'm not terribly impressed with what they've produced in video content for Apple Music. Like there's like Carpool Karaoke, which is just like, hey, watch celebrities dance and sing. Which is, there's one thing. And then there was like Planet of the Apps, which was more of just like something you should watch for business class in college. I suppose. Yeah, but I haven't seen much they've made. I know they've made some other documentaries on Apple Music you can watch and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't yet been able to I can't watch all of them. I don't really know what all of them about. So in terms of making more of it, I'd like to see something that maybe just people want to watch, because right now Apple just kind of makes whatever on Apple Music and hopes you watch it. Maybe make some pick up some actual TV shows. Maybe we're seeing TV shows on Twitter, I'm noticing, are getting canceled left and right, and maybe Apple Music should pick up a couple. Maybe give some leeway to subscribe to Apple Music, because you're also going to get some shows out of it. So yeah, there's a couple ways that could go, but right now I'm not impressed. It's not the reason I subscribe to Apple Music, is for the original content. In terms of the new YouTube updates and features, I don't know of much of what they changed, but what I can say is that I'm not, I'm very disappointed in their new monetization strategy of making it for over 4,000 hours, because we have not one, not two, but 3 different YouTube channels that are perfectly monetizable. They're over 1,000 subscribers that are over 4,000 hours. Between the gaming channel, the main channel, and the music channel, all 3 of those are qualified. And they've been qualified for about a month. The gaming channel has been qualified for about 3 months now. The main channel and the music channel have been qualified for about a month. We've submitted all the applications for them, and they told us they would get back to us at the end of April. Now it is May, and now it says we'll get back to you at the end of June. But because of us submitting our application in the beginning of March, actually more towards the end of February. I imagine there's plenty of other YouTube channels that are in that similar boat. Luckily we have Tailosive Tech and Talks that are both qualifiable, so we didn't get demonetized when the new completely stripped of monetization when the new rules came out. But so luckily that's our main source of our main source of revenue are these two channels. But imagine all of the other YouTube channels that were around the size of our gaming channel where they were like, well, we're not quite at 4,000 hours, but we're about to cross it. But then YouTube hit these new rules, and now they have to wait 4 months before they get their channel monetized. And that seems wrong to me. I don't understand why it's so complicated to approve these channels, because I don't like what you could watch like one of our videos and be like, oh yeah, we're not racist, Nazi, zombie YouTubers. I don't know, whatever you're worried about channels getting monetized that shouldn't be. We're not that. We're like a very, very harmless, small, tiny, crappy gaming channel, and yet we can't accept super chat donations on that. So that's why we moved to Twitch, and now we're like a day away from being able to become an affiliate on Twitch. So because the deadline for the monetization that YouTube would approve us came and went, we're going to see how fast we can get monetized on Twitch, and it's probably not going to take very long. It's probably going to take like a week or 2 weeks, and then we'll be monetized on Twitch. So yeah, I mean, I'm not overall impressed. And in regards to what my plans are for 100,000 subs, I have no idea yet. I'm still messing around with ideas. I will do some kind of thank you video, but yeah, I haven't decided yet exactly if I'm going to do a giveaway or whatnot. It's still up in the air for me, and it's probably a good month or two away. Mark Davis super chatted and says, "What do you think about Pocket Now fake iPhone news?" I didn't know they did fake iPhone news. I don't think I follow Pocket Now, so sadly, I appreciate the donation, but I don't have much to say on the matter because I don't know too much about it. Drew, I think Siri covers all the important / most common use cases that Google Assistant has. Obviously, I mean, I'm not arguing that Siri's the smartest or that Siri's better, but I know of plenty of things Google Assistant can do that Siri can't. I just don't think they matter in the long run. They're very small things that most people aren't going to matter. And because you don't do them very often, it doesn't, like the Google Assistant is on iOS. So if you are in one of those instances in which you need a digital assistant to answer you this extremely precise question, you can still use the Google Assistant even on your iPhone. So, I mean, but Siri's on everything now. Let's see. Maybe Siri's not as good when you don't have an American accent. That may be true. I haven't tried Siri with a British accent. Hey Siri, play royalty-free music.
Okay, here's the album Royalty-Free Music Library.
They got that one. Yay, no copyright strikes. It's royalty-free. Bombs away. Do you think the notch will go away or get smaller? Not in that order, but yes, it'll get smaller and then it'll go away eventually. It does not like you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your digital assistant doesn't like you. Can we talk about LCD iPhone 10? But I mean, what makes the iPhone 10's display and look possible with that bezel-less design is because it's OLED. You can curve the bottom of it. That's how they got rid of the chin. Once it's LCD, you can't curve the display, which means you have to have a chin on it. So, yeah. I mean, it won't look like the iPhone 10 if it's LCD, is my point. You think Mark Zuckerberg's actually the Duplex robot? No, because the Duplex robot understands how to be a human, or at least how to fool us into thinking it's a human. When will the new iPad be out? I've never owned one. I would say probably going to be at Worldwide Developers Conference, which is less than a month away, the 4th. Mark Davis super chatted says, really? He's so annoying. I thought Apple was Doom. Apple was Doom, the video game that came out in 2016. No, yeah, I think Apple has a ton of money saved up so that even though they don't flop on any of their products. None of their products really flop that hard. If they do flop, it's not that bad. But I think even Apple could have a couple flops and still be fine with it for a good 10 years and live off of the stockpile of cash they've accumulated. Would you rather have a Galaxy phone with micro LED now or have the next iPhone? Next iPhone, because micro LED is cool, but it's not going to change the way I use my phone very much. It may help design of things, but there's a bug flying around again. He doesn't know what he's doing. Let's see. I think Google Duplex is impressive. What's creepy is how Google /demoed it. It should be required to identify itself as a computer so that the other person knows where their data is going. Yeah, you know, Duplex is cool. I tried to make that known in my video. Everyone was acting like, oh, Drew doesn't care about this amazing new technology. It's like, no, it's not terribly new technology, but I mean, I'm used to hearing that because I'm an Apple sheep, and a lot of what Apple makes is not terribly new. It's just rethinking previous designs, and that's what Google Duplex was. You know, like I get scam calls every day on the phone that are like, you know, hello, would you be interested in this? And you can say yes, or of course, or absolutely, and it will understand that, and then the robot will keep talking. You can even act a little bit weird, and it will be like, oh, excuse me, what? Can you say that again? I'm interested if you're in the, and they'll have the uhs and the pre-recorded messages and stuff. So having robots interact with people on the phone is not a terribly new technology, but applying it in that way was new, which is cool that you can schedule appointments via the Google Assistant. But yeah, there's definitely a bunch of applications in which I could see it not working out. Like I could imagine plenty of instances in which maybe the person on the phone's like, do you have a rewards membership with us? Does the Google Assistant then look at your email and then make sure you have a Google rewards member and then say, yes, I do. And then the person on the phone says, would you like to sign us up for this? Would you like to be signed up for this newsletter? And then the Google Assistant is like, I know my user's email address, time to tell them. So maybe Google's looking into that because, to be fair, Duplex still isn't available and it's probably not going to be ready for a while. But there's probably a bunch of instances they're worried about it not working out or failing on them. So I could see complications with it. But on top of that, even if it works flawlessly, it's just not something I feel like deserved the amount of attention it got. People were acting like it was this groundbreaking thing. And I was like, okay, how often do you schedule a haircut appointment? Like once every 2 weeks or once every week? Does that 30-second process really take up too much of your life? Like, again, not saying it's not cool. It's just how often are you going to use that is my point. Like when iOS 11 gets a control center redesign, I'm excited because I use control center a lot and I'm seeing how it's going to be more efficient. Now I can customize it, how I can screen record now very quickly through control center. I'm like, that's something I use a lot. Yes, like when you just compare it to the old one, they're like, oh, so they just redesigned this. Doesn't matter that much. But it's like, but that's something we use a lot. So when they redesign it, it's a big deal. People were treating Duplex like Google had like discovered the cure to cancer somehow. And I was like, you're okay. You don't have to schedule hair appointments. Great. That's fun. It's not convincing anyone of other to switch phones, but yeah. Mark Davis super chatted says, what do you think about the future of Apple? They're going to be fine. I think their most profitable months of all time have yet to come. They're probably going to make even more money later in life because they seem to be very smart in reorganizing themselves as a services company. They're making more money from services than ever before between, you know, Apple Music and iCloud storage and everything, an Apple upgrade program. Like getting people into contracts is going to result into a lot of money they make quarter to quarter. So, you know how like everyone buys the iPhone 10 when it first comes out and then sales kind of peter down from there? It doesn't really matter too much to Apple when more and more people are going with the Apple upgrade program because then you pay for your phone month to month to month. So when the iPhone comes out is indifferent of when the profit comes in because each month they know that everyone who got the iPhone is going to be giving them $50. Did anyone else notice the Google Assistant kept saying during the demo? I did. I mean, it kind of worked. It kind of gave off the illusion that it was a person pretty well. I don't know how I feel about robots just literally tricking us, and that's the future. It's like let's just trick human beings into thinking this is a real person, and that's the future. I guess it's fine. It's harmless. It's not hurting anyone, but they definitely were starting to add us in that conversation that didn't need to be there. They'd be like, "Oh, I got you. So I'll talk to you later." And it was like, "I'm a human." So you could kind of notice the little imperfections, but for the most part, it did a fine job. It's the way it was able to hear the other person on the phone call and articulate was cool. It's neat. It's neat. Don't act like it's not a cool thing, but it's just, to me, it's not it's not a game changer. Obi super chatted again, says you can get Google Assistant on iOS, so why buy a Pixel? I mean, like, obviously you don't have the Hello Google feature on your phone, so there's excuse me, there's plenty of things that you can't get out of the Google Assistant if it's on iOS. So, but that's how I talk, constantly saying, yes, it's more like people than we are. What's going to be funny is if you schedule an appointment with the Google Duplex system and it's a robot that picks up. So then robots are now talking to other robots and they're like, press 1. Okay. When would you like to schedule your appointment? I would like to schedule my appointment. And it's like, why are we having phone calls? Come on. What is the perfect iPhone for gaming? The 10. Don't you guys like ultra wide stuff? And the A11 chip super fast, and you got the highest resolution on the 10. The notch kind of sucks for gameplay, but yeah, it's not that bad. It doesn't intrude on much. Favorite watch band nowadays? I'm liking my Sport Loop. I'm still rocking the blue one. Very comfortable, very light. Google said that Google Duplex will allow customers to connect with business like never before, but it actually disconnects them. Yeah, I mean, like they said in the keynote, aren't most places able to reserve appointments online now anyway? So this is really only applying to people who have an assistant, need to make phone calls, but aren't using services that have online scheduling appointments anyway. So I don't know. It's such a rare instance in which you'll use it, even if it works flawlessly. Thanks for your content, by the way. This is a safe place, Mark Davis says. Some people call Tailosive Tech a safe space for Apple users, which I honestly don't think is true, because I admit that I like the best tech company in my mind. In my mind, it's Apple. Apple's doing better than everyone else, and you're welcome to disagree with me. But there's plenty of things they do that I don't like, and I'll call them out on it a lot, that a lot of Apple users out there get mad at me for. In fact, quite often, sometimes I'll complain about something Apple does, and people will be like, no, Drew, Apple is doing this right. You're wrong. So anything from marketing, like I don't like Apple's marketing. There will be people who will always defend Apple's marketing. I don't like the 2018 iPad. I think they should have just kept selling the 2016 iPad Pro. I don't and lowered the price of the 2017 iPad. I think the iPhone 10 was too cheap. A lot of people hate that one. I think they should have made it more expensive, but included better accessories like a fast charger, AirPods, or a wireless charger, or just make the iPhone 10 more money, but a better package. And a lot of people disagree with me on that. They're always like, no. I would not have paid more than $1,000. I like the accessories that come with it, and I didn't. So yeah, there's plenty of things Apple does that I don't like, and it's known to upset people. So it's not. Don't act like coming here is like, I like everything Apple does, and Drew will tell me why everything Apple does is wonderful. Not always true. Maybe sometimes, maybe a majority of the time, I like what Apple does, but I think it's just because they fundamentally and ideally share a lot of the same values I do. So my personal preference in what Apple does always seems to be fairly similar. For the most part, we disagree though. Omega says, just wanted to give some advice a friend gave me. If you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. People only hate you because they ain't you. Thanks, Omega. That sounds like, what was that movie, The Interview? They hate. Problem. We should call my office iOS 11 because there's bugs everywhere. Anyway, I tried to bring that up in my video, which is that no one really can love your channel without people hating it, because if you're always aiming for the most basic, like if you're always aiming for the most everyone's going to be like, yeah, I guess that's true. Because if you limit what you say all the way down to what will offend the least amount of people, it's never going to be very interesting. Or you're never going to have that moment where people are like, yes, that's exactly what I've been thinking, because people disagreeing is what kind of strikes passion. It's kind of what strikes people to get adrenaline. Like when they watch a video that they don't agree with, that's what makes them go, no, that doesn't make any sense. And then when they watch a video that contradicts that previous point and proves what you're believing, that's what makes users go, yes, thank you. That's what I was trying to say. Finally, someone's saying it. So yeah, I mean, haters are inevitable, but the point of yesterday's video was to, or for most people yesterday, for some people to today, the point of today's video was that I'm not trying to get everyone to like me. That's not the goal here. It's not, I want everyone to agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, then you need to make fun of me. It was, or no one's offending me. I hope people got that point across very clearly. My feelings aren't hurt. I don't care what someone with a blank profile picture or someone with a picture of Iron Man as a profile picture says mean things about me. That doesn't offend me. Like, especially, it kills me how many times people will make fun of the way you look, but they won't show the internet how they look. It's just, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I've gotten hate comments ever since I was 10 years old. It's been such a long process to me. I'm immune to it. People tell me to kill myself every day, and I'm not even surprised by that. It's sad, but it's just, I don't take that personally. I'm not a depressed person. I'm very happy. I'm a very optimistic person, and I can get all of those hates all the time, and I'm just like, oh, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. Like, it just, I was even bullied in school before. Like, people used to make fun of me. It never bothered me. That wasn't what the video was about. The video was about the haters that are saying the exact same thing every single day. They think they're being funny, but the funny thing is they're all saying the exact same thing. Like, I could boil it down to probably like 10 templates. Like, oh, Apple's so down your throat, or get off of Apple's, and echoes are like, Apple could sell a piece of crap and you'd still buy it. Like, they're so unoriginal. I would love to see some like original hate comments where they make fun of me in a creative way, but I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying that it's all getting in the way of the genuine discussion. I want less comments from people that are either trying to make fun of me or just say first, or just say, love you, love your videos. Like, it's friendly and I appreciate it, but the point of the comments, that in my mind anyways, is I have an opinion out there. I want to see how you guys disagree with it. And I want to find a genuinely good counterpoint so I can understand you guys better, so I can get where you guys are coming from. So that's all I'm going for. It's not me being offended that I'm upset about the haters. It's just people getting in the way of genuine discussion. I think any YouTuber needs to just understand they're going to put up with that, honestly. Like, anyone who's going to have an opinion, anyone, especially me, like, I'm walking into it. I'm coming out and saying, hey, guys, my opinion is skewed. I'm not going to look at things in a fair way. When you do that, you're opening all kinds of doors for hate. You need to just expect that. Like, you need to just go out and literally say exactly what you're thinking and understand that people are going to hate you on it. Like, it's inevitable. Don't act like it won't happen. Anyway, next super chat's from Ethan. If both Apple and Samsung went bust, what phone company would you go to by either specs or ecosystems? Probably Essential, maybe, or OnePlus. Not Pixel. There's not a situation in which I will go with Pixel unless it's a joke question where it's like, would you rather use the original iPhone or the Pixel 2? It's like, at that point, the features I'm losing is beyond what the Pixel 2 is. The reason I don't like the Pixel 2 is because of the features I'm missing out on. But if you take away those features I'd be missing out on, what's the point? Then yeah, I'd get a Pixel 2 if there was a situation in which I could only use a Pixel 2 or an iPhone 4 or something like that. Like I wouldn't choose a 4 over a Pixel 2. Maybe some of you would, but yeah, I like the Essential as a phone. I'm really hoping they make a sequel to that this year, because there's a couple of really small changes they could make that would drastically make that phone amazing and probably sell really, really well. So I'm hoping Essential Phone comes out with a second one. Let's see. You've been missing out on the futures for a while, had no problems. Good. Glad you had no problems. I don't know what that was about, but YouTube should focus less on the demonetization of videos and just send their crap algorithm after those commenters instead. I mean, no, I don't want like the YouTube algorithm for what comments are spam and what wasn't and isn't spam is just awful. Like they'll put the most basic of comments in the spam folder. And it's not even sometimes right. It's like most of the time they're just shooting in the dark. Let me look in my likely spam section. All right, Isaac Hawk commented, like this video if you're not a hater. That's in my spam. Cool video. That's in my spam. You have haters because you're an Apple sheep. Why is that spam exactly? I'm not really sure. To be fair, it did get some spam. It's showing some comments that were pasted like over and over again. Can you review Oculus Go, please? I hope you read that. It's in my spam folder. I probably never would have saw that unless I checked it for this live stream. Thanks, YouTube. Someone wrote the words Apple sheep. In my spam folder is a comment that I got 135 likes, and it was just the meme review joke. So like, thank YouTube. What's the criteria for the spam folder? My ideal 3 cameras are normal, telephoto, and wide angle. Spam. So much spam. I liked this video. Spam. Goodness. Yeah, that's very sad. I'll stop doing that anyway. Hey, front page text here. If there are comments in spam, that doesn't seem like it needs to be spam. There's a good chance those people have been flagged on other videos. Then why is it like some of them are just why are they there? What should it matter? Like if one person makes bad comments on another video, now they can't comment on anything? I don't know. I don't get the point of it, but I guess it's relatively harmless. You like the Apple is Supreme merch. I hope I'm allowed to do that. It's just the word Apple, whatever. I don't want like more censorship of channels. I don't want people to be like, oh, he's bullying people. Now we need to take down his channel. It's just like, bullies are going to, internet bullies especially, they're going to find ways around things. I've had very, very, very long-term bullies and spammers and haters of this channel. You can block them. You can mute them. You can do whatever you want. They'll find a way around your walls you put up. The better thing to do is to just block them out of your own mind. Don't use the site for it because they can work their way around the site. Block them out of your own mind, or just try to ignore them so they don't feel like they're getting enough attention. Or literally, sometimes I'll even just try to reason with them and make them try to realize why their argument strategy is so stupid. Yeah, please no YouTube heroes, please. How effective do you find the sound foam? In here, it's not super effective. Kind of the furniture makes more, but it just kind of was a more better design aesthetic than just the blank blue walls. It looked kind of dull in here when it was just blue. So the soundproofing kind of gives a little bit of style. In the podcast room right over there, though, the soundproofing is very, very useful. It completely gets rid of the echo, and that room had a lot of echo. The other thing that helps with sound in this room is the shotgun microphone we got, which is very directional, and that fixed a lot of the echo in here. Digging that shirt design you guys going. Thanks. Yeah, I'll let you guys know when they have free shipping or they have sales going on, because Spreadshirt will let me know when Spreadshirt will let me know when you can get deals on things. And by the way, not much money goes to me when you buy these t-shirts. Some of it goes to me, but for the most part, not very much. But yeah, it looks like the next promotion. So you might want to mark your calendars for this. I'll definitely tweet it out and remind it for more people. For May 15th to May 17th, everything will be 15% off with the code FAB15. So if you use that code FAB, FAB15, all caps, in checkout, then you can get 15% off and save yourself some money, because I personally think they're kind of expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't really set most of the prices. There's just like a little creator's tax that goes on top of it. But yeah, for the most part, save yourself some money. Don't buy them right now. Wait till the 15th and get them when they're cheap. I don't get discounts on these, by the way. I have to pay the same amount you guys do. So I won't even buy Tailosive merch until the sales go down. So I'll let you guys know about the discounts as much as possible. Your shirt should have more contrast. Well, I have other shirts for that too. This is just kind of the stealthy one. Look, it looks actually fairly visible on the webcam, but in real life, it's harder to notice. I could never find any of your videos promoted by YouTube. Is YouTube ignoring content creators that make good content? No, I wouldn't go that far. YouTube probably doesn't want to promote, I don't know, content with lots of dislikes. That could just be built into the system. If I have a lot of dislikes, then they're not going to recommend it probably. But, well, that's not true, because I know of certain YouTubers that get plenty of dislikes and they get recommended. But some people are just saying that, like, I never get on Creator on the Rise or anything like that. But that's fine. We're growing at a consistent rate. I'm happy with our growth. We don't need YouTube to help us out. We're doing fine. Dab, you know what? You donate $20, I'll dab. Drew, do you have a favorite book from Apple? No, that book is stupid. It's a $300 book. That sounds like something Tailosive Tech would ask for in a live stream. Ugh. That book's gross. I watched a turn through of that book, as in like someone just filmed themselves turning through every page. And it's not even the first Apple products and the last Apple products. It's just part of Apple's history. And you can look at the whole book online. It's not even pirating. It's just a YouTube video of someone turning the pages. Don't spend $300 on that. Ugh. It does sound like something Apple would make. I honestly wonder what they were thinking with the Apple book. Were they literally like, we can make anything, right? We can literally make anything. Yes, it's not a safe space anymore. Drew's firing shots at everyone. Apple sucks. iOS 11's garbage. The Apple book, terrible. The Google Assistant, garbage. I still use the Home Max every day. It can't hear me half the time. It sucks. The audio jack on it sucks. The Google Assistant doesn't know how to respond to many things. Don't act like it knows the answer to everything. Windows 10 updates all the time. It sucks. Everything sucks. Technology's garbage, and I hate everything. There you go. Apple Book Refresh 2018. Does someone want me to review the Apple Book? If you send me the money for it, I will. I hate it, but I'll do it if someone wants to pay for it. All technology is garbage. Computers are just terrible. What Mac should I get for editing 4K at 24 FPS with a low-ish budget? By the way, basic 2012 MacBook Air can, in fact, edit 4K at 24, but uncompressed using Final Cut, but it fails at exporting. Sadly, if you're talking about the cheap market, Shushi, if you're talking about the cheap market, it's not going to export very, very fast. Even if you get a 12-inch MacBook or if you get a MacBook Air, anything cheap has low-end CPU, and low-end CPU means that editing 4K at 24, most computers can do. Like my 2012 iMac can do that. It's not a terribly processing intensive thing to edit 4K at 24, especially if you have Final Cut Pro. Any Mac really in the last 5 to 6 years will be able to edit that. But if you're talking budget, yeah, your export times are going to be slow. It's not really gonna change. There's not like a way to get budget and fast exports, maybe faster than others. But if that's your priority, I would, I don't know, go for the MacBook Pro. Don't buy anything right now because we're going to get a MacBook refresh in less than a month. But maybe the 12-inch MacBook processor improvement will be good, and you'll get exporting speeds a lot higher. But yeah, just focus on that CPU if that's what you care about. Just get a PC. You are missing out on a lot of power with the budget max. Are you though? Because Matthew, are you joking again? Because I remember Matthew Wu as like the funny guy, like everything he says is a joke. Because look, you don't have Final Cut on a Windows 10 PC, which means that even when you have more power, performance overall isn't going to end up taking more time, because Adobe Premiere on Mac OS or Windows exporting is way slower. So no, it's not just like, if I get a Windows 10 PC, I'll suddenly have much better export times. Not true. I don't know about video performance. I wouldn't really recommend a Windows PC for anyone looking for making video stuff. Apple with Final Cut Pro really has you nailed down. You can get a very light, very budget Mac that can edit things just fine in Final Cut Pro, and Microsoft has no alternative to that. Microsoft you have to go with Adobe Premiere or DaVinci or something like that, and it's just not going to export as fast. That optimization is not there. It has too many updates. And yeah, if you want to know my experience with PCs, please watch some of the more recent Tailosive Talks vlogs. You know what should be a simple process that somehow Windows messed up? If you're thinking about investing in a computer and someone's telling you to buy a PC. So I had a PC. Not that the CPU on it was great. It was a slow CPU, but that wasn't the problem. The CPU worked. It was just slow. But I wanted to do a live stream with it, all right? I use GeForce Experience. I plug in a webcam. I do gaming streams on it. Works great. It's like gameplay's smooth, 2K, 60 FPS. People can see me on the webcam. I'm live streaming. Things are going great. So then I turn on my computer one day, says I got some updates for you, and I'm like, yeah, let's keep this thing up to date. So I hit update. Windows 10's updating, does its thing. I'm in no hurry. Sure, it takes a little while. Starts booting up. The people who watch Tailosive Talks, you know where this is going. It's a good story. One day, I'm like, okay, time to live stream. Do my classic GeForce Shadow Play key command, Alt-Z. Whole computer crashes. Not the program, the computer. Blue screen, Windows 10 says something went wrong. And I'm like, this is weird. I don't know what the problem is. Let me try that again. Restart the computer. Alt-Z, crashes again. Alt-Z, crashes again. Then I'm going, okay, what's the problem here? Maybe I shouldn't use Shadow Play. So then I open OBS. Computer crashes again. Found out anytime we tried to access my very basic Logitech webcam, you can plug it into anything. We plugged it into the Mac to make sure the webcam wasn't broken. We plugged my webcam from Walmart into a Mac. Works automatically. Shows up in photo booth. We're like, great. Yep, webcam works. It's not the webcam. Plug it into the PC. Crashes. So I wonder what's wrong. So there's a lot of you PC builders, PC fans, PC users in the audience. And we talk personally sometimes in the Discord server. So I call some of them up. I'm like, so you know how to use PCs, right? He's like, yes, I built my own PC. I got a GTX 1080. I got a really cool PC. Go into your driver settings. Got to update the driver settings, because apparently this is something you may have to deal with if you invest in a Windows 10, even if it's for video editing. You can, for no reason, have driver corruption, where the very fundamental parts of code that make the computer work, they might just stop working. Why? Who knows? They just will. They'll just stop working. Something as simple as a webcam, something computers have had for years and years and years, probably 10 years now, right? PCs 10 years ago, you could just plug in a webcam and look through it. Now, so we reinstall the driver updates. We're like, oh, there's the device. It notices the device. Let's change the properties. We'll make it real. It was a plug and play accessory. You don't have to download drivers from other company. You plug it in, downloads the drivers automatically, sets it up. And again, this worked in the past fine. I did 2 to 3 live streams with this exact setup, exact same equipment, no problem. No complaints, no problems with it. Now all of a sudden one day, driver's corrupted. And I'm like, okay, what do we do? And he's walking me through it. He's like, go into properties and reset the drivers, plug it in, still crashes every time. He's probably not watching this, but he can attest to this. I'll bring him up if you don't believe me. But we eventually in the Discord voice chat had 3 to 4 people all walking me through with everything they knew how to do. And these were not amateurs. These were people who built PCs themselves and even could attest that they were like, yeah, my friend actually also had driver corruption. Just the drivers broke and he had to reset their entire PC. He had to reinstall the entire operating system. That's what the comments were telling me to do. All the comments were like, you got to reinstall Windows. So I'm like, okay, this isn't working out. I don't really have much personal information on here. I guess I'm going to have to download all of my games over again. Whatever. If that will make the PC go back to the way it was working before, then that'll be fine. Again, a lot of people looked at the specs of my PC and they're like, dude, you got a crappy CPU. I'm like, I know the CPU sucked. I wanted this thing for gameplay, which it can do. It still could do. It's not working anymore, but I'll get into that. Basically, drivers corrupted. We tried reinstalling drivers, didn't work. We got to the So basically, it was telling me I was missing out features that other Windows 10 Pro users had, which allowed you to just reset the entire computer. Now it was explaining to me that I needed to put Windows 10 on a flash drive and boot Windows 10 off of that in order to reset the OS. I can't just reset it. It's not an option. I have to go out and get it. Now, believe it or not, because I'm such a Mac user, airdropping, I don't have a flash drive. Like, I don't even have a USB-C to USB adapter anymore because everything I do is either wireless or I'm editing on the iMac Pro, which has the SD card slot. This PC didn't have an SD card slot. So basically it got to the point where this crappy PC that was crashing repeatedly for accessing the webcam, by the way, not the webcam's fault. You could plug it into a Mac and it worked fine. We could plug it into my friend Wyatt's PC and it worked fine. Him running the same version of Windows, him updating his PC every day. Can't reset it. We got to the point where it was about, all right, Drew, in order for this to now work, you're going to have to spend more money. You're going to have to spend more time. We're going to have to download Windows 10 onto a flash drive, and you're going to have to buy a flash drive or find a flash drive. That's how futuristic I am. Yes, I don't have one. I literally haven't needed one. If I needed to send files to another Mac, we airdropped. Everyone here uses Macs. We're airdropping everything now. We don't have the need for flash drives. Again, even if I had a flash drive, that shouldn't be a problem. And if you're recommending people buy a PC, keep in mind, if you're recommending that, oh, you could get more processing power, oh, you can get more specs for the build, that's something you have to worry about, though. Something that should take no time. Something that shouldn't be a problem suddenly is now a problem. Plugging in a webcam and looking at what the camera can see is now causing the computer to crash. Why? Drivers. They just broke. They just don't work anymore. Welcome to Windows. So what did we do? In case you're wondering about what happened to that PC, if you watch Tailosive Talks, you would know this already. But we took the GTX 1050 out of mine, which a lot of people were like, Drew, that's not a 1080. That means it's not good. It's not a 1060. We weren't spending a lot of money on this thing. It was like a budget PC. And it ran games fine. We hooked it up to the Predator 1440p monitor that's on my desk now. We hooked it up to that. We ran Doom 2K at 60. It ran Fortnite 2K at 60. It was a great graphics card. It was just unlive streamable. Oh, don't worry, it gets worse. Don't worry. I forgot an important detail. So I just decided, you know what? A live stream is better than no live stream. So you know what we do? We're just going to be like, okay, no webcam. Fine. We just won't use the webcam. So now Windows 10, because of software, it's preventing us from using hardware we own because of drivers. Now I have my microphone plugged into my PC. The decibel, the semitones, the pitch of my voice drops half. It's like I hit puberty a second time. Now my voice is super, super deep, and everyone's like, Drew, what the heck? What's going on? Why is it broken? Like, what? My voice is now dropped. This is not a setting. There is no mode that says drop microphone's voice volume or voice pitch. There was no setting to that. It was literally just a glitch. If we unplugged the mic and plugged it back in, it worked again. Why? Drivers. Glitching out, software bugs. It's such a mess. I cannot recommend it anymore. If someone's willing to send me their PC to use, then sure, I'll try it out. But I'm not spending more money on a PC. I'm done. I've given it enough tries. I've experimented with it enough. I'm sick of people telling me that's not how you reinstall Windows. You can either reinstall it via flash, external SSD, external hard drive, or going by troubleshoot. I don't have those. All my hard drives are formatted for Mac OS Journal. It got to a point where I was going to have to spend more money to fix a crappy computer that probably was going to run into more driver updates all over again. Now, I understand that's not everyone's experience. I don't want people thinking that I think everyone who has Windows 10 is experiencing those problems. That's not true. I know that. It's the same debate as iOS 11. Some people who have had terrible experiences with iOS 11 have switched away from Apple. They're not wrong to. They had a terrible experience with the software, and it got to the point where they couldn't use it anymore. Now, I haven't gotten to that point. iOS 11's worked great for me, so I haven't ditched it. Windows 10, however, has become such a terrible user experience for me that I can't justify spending money on it anymore. Like, we're going to get a new iMac after WWDC for the gaming room and for editing stuff. We'll probably put Windows 10 on there as a partition. We'll boot camp Windows 10 on it because that's free. It doesn't cost me anything. But I had been working on that PC for weeks, for hours, and it got to the point where people said, oh, no, Drew, you can fix it. You just have to buy something. Just have to go buy something. And I'm like, we don't even know if that's going to fix it. How do we know we can reinstall the whole operating system and this won't? Once again, the drivers are going to corrupt. Wasn't supposed to break. Why did it break in the first place? What's so complicated about plugging in a webcam that you can't handle that? What's so complicated about hearing a microphone that's plugged into you? Now all of a sudden, your voice is lower. You turn into Markiplier, exactly. And it couldn't reset itself on its own. It needed a separate hard drive to reset itself, which, again, all my external drives are full of footage, first of all, and I don't want to take them off my Macs and put Windows 10 on them to boot it off because this shouldn't be a problem. So if you watch Tailosive Talks, we took the GTX 1050, we took out the graphics card, took out the RAM, took out everything, basically are scrapping it for parts, selling what we can. We took the 1050, we put it in Wyatt's computer because his was old, but he had a pretty decent CPU. So now he had a GTX 680. In fact, if anyone wants a 680, let me know. I'll sell it to you. But so he got an improvement in graphics. So now his games run better. He got the keyboard and everything. I've got a dual monitor now. So we're making the most of it. We're trying to sell the remaining of the parts of it but mostly it's useless. Thoughts on European GDPR, general data protection rules? Should U.S. install same kind of data protection / privacy rules in U.S.? Perhaps. I'm afraid that I'll go into politics if I start talking about this. But thank you, by the way, Rojo, for super chatting. Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of see it from two different angles, though, because I understand that there's plenty of users out there who want the best experience or they want security agencies to do their job and research, personal information if they have to, because there's a lot of users out there who are like me and are just like, I have nothing to hide. Look all you want. There's nothing to see there. But then there's also people who are wanting their data to be private, and I don't think that's wrong either. So it might be a better idea to leave that up to the consumer. And luckily, as long as we have companies like Apple, which isn't going anywhere, that values user privacy, encryption, keeping data personal, then if you want your data to be encrypted and private, then you buy that company's software and hardware. And if you don't care about that, then you can buy the company that doesn't provide encryption or security or safety. So it might be better to just leave it up to the consumer, because I doubt that all consumers could agree on a certain amount of privacy. Some people would say, yes, I want the government to search my stuff and find bad guys, and other people would say, absolutely not. So maybe just leave that up to the consumer and maybe not enforce it as a law. I don't know. Please do a Markiplier impression. Respect. Or react to old tech videos. We do that sometimes on the Talks channel. But anyway, we're well over our hour. So thank you guys for the super chat. Thank you for Rojo for being the final super chatter of the evening. And I also want to recommend people that this is not the only video of the day. You can also go and check out Tailosive Talks, Tailosive Gaming, both on Twitch and on YouTube. Tailosive Movie Reviews. We're close to 2,000 subscribers. You can also check out Tailosive, the main channel, with comedy sketches. They're timeless, they're funny, they're cringy, they're bad, they're horrible, but you should still watch them because they're funny. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. I forgot to send Fab15 for the discount code on Spreadshirt, which is applicable May 15th to May 17th. You get 15% off. So thank you. One of these days, you'll have to go past an hour. I did. It says at the top I went an hour, 11 minutes. Anyway, thanks you guys for the super chats. Thanks you guys for the questions. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night. End.